Welcome to AHDB's Strategic Cereal Farm for the West, hosted by Squab Hall Farm and former farm manager Rob Fox. Squab Hall Farm is located on some fairly heavy clays and the weather is often a challenge. But for harvest 2021, the trials went into the ground in good conditions. All of the oilseed rape established well and received one or no insecticides, and the same was for the wheat, with most of the areas receiving reduced amounts of insecticides. Crops fared well throughout a fairly wet winter, but through to March and beyond, the weather dried up and the farm received very little rain. However, we've got some really interesting results from the trials that we've been looking at for harvest 2021, and our researchers are going to talk you through the key points from our cultivations trials, as well as our managed lower input trial, and also the monitoring work on pests and natural enemies.
Hi, my name is Chloe. This year I worked on the managed lower inputs trial at Strategic Cereal Farm West. This trial was investigating the opportunity for the industry to reduce fungicide inputs when using more resistant varieties. In the field, half of the field was drilled X-days and the other half was siskin. Within each variety, 3 different fungicide programs were applied, designed to be low, medium and high input. Septoria triticide was the dominant disease in the field, and we could see clear differences in the level of septoria between the 2 varieties, with higher severity in siskin than X-days, and this reflected the variety resistance ratings. However, the differences between the fungicide treatments within each variety were small. This was reflected in the yields, where X-days yielded more than siskin, however this was not found to be statistically significant. When we compared the different fungicide programs within each variety, again differences were small and not significant. So this suggested that the lowest input program was sufficient for both disease and yield in this situation. So the key take-home message for farmers and agronomists is that selecting varieties with high resistance ratings for disease reduces the risk of a damaging epidemic. Therefore, fungicide programs should be tailored to the variety and season to maximise margins.
I'm Damien Hatley and I've been working on the cultivation trial at the Strategic Farm West. This trial was established in autumn 2018 and it aims to test the extent to which cultivation systems can be used to improve soil health, and particularly in promoting improved rooting to depth. Cultivations were carried out at 5, 15 and 30 centimetres in replicated strips with a direct drill treatment which was added in the second year. Winter wheat was grown in years in the first year and in year 3. And in year 2, winter oilseed rape crop failed to establish and was replaced by spring beans. Over the 3-year period, reducing cultivation depth from 15 centimetres, which is the normal farm practice, to 5 centimetres or direct drilling, reduced the wheat yield by half a tonne a hectare, whilst increasing tillage to 30 centimetres showed no yield advantage. In terms of overall soil health, soil structural indicators in year 3 were much worse for the 5 centimetre cultivation than deeper tillage or direct drilling. Specific root traits in the spring and total root length at harvest were both found to be well correlated with final yield, which just emphasises the importance of monitoring what's going on below the soil surface as well as above the ground. More than anything, this project has highlighted some of the difficulties experienced in changing cultivation practice on a very challenging soil, particularly as the 3-year period included the wet autumn and winter of 2019. So the key take-homes from this experiment are firstly, regularly monitor your soil and be flexible with your cultivation strategy according to the conditions. Ensure that soil structure and particularly drainage are in the best possible shape before significantly reducing cultivation as a long-term strategy, and be prepared for some initial yield loss. And finally, you need to appreciate that converting to no-till is not an easy option, as the potential benefits are markedly influenced by climatic, soil and cropping differences.
Flowering strips help farmers by supporting a diversity and abundance of natural enemies across the farming landscape, and this helps to reduce the frequency of pest infestations building to damaging levels. Flowering strips also help to support wider biodiversity by providing a range of different resources and habitats within the farming landscape. The data we collected suggested the work at Strategic Farm West had improved the overall biodiversity of natural enemies across the farm rather than in individual fields. For farmers looking to establish floral strips on their farm, the most important thing is to make sure they plan exactly what they want to get out of those strips, because floral margins designed for promoting natural enemies can be quite different from those to promote general biodiversity. Different floral mixes within the margins will benefit different species, so it's important to pick plants and manage them according to what you want to achieve from the field margin. If you're looking to promote natural enemies and you want to get a diversity, you need to select a diversity of plants with a range of different floral components.